House to Home, presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
We have taken you through, Liz Duenas, Gina Campos, and myself, a series of activities that you have to do, and hopefully that you have to do in sequence and with all of your paperwork, get all your ducks in a row to make sure that you have your house of your dreams at a fair price and with as least stress as possible and everything. And ladies, we are in the final phase. This is step 5 of 5. We are in the final countdown. Sorry, I just have to throw that in. But Gina, we've got the contractors stuff last week. We all squared that away, so we're almost ready. We're almost at the finish line, right?
Yeah, last week you already knew your budget. You're sitting with your contractor. You're trying to come up with a floor plan. You've already come up with it. You've gone back and forth. You revised it. You finalized your actual blueprints. And so the next part is you go and you apply for your building permit. And that starts with DPW. You go to DPW, and normally your contractor will do this for you. Me personally, I prefer to do this part myself, just because I'm kind of a control freak, I think.
I was about to say that, but better you than me.
I let my contractor do all the dirty work in respect to the building permit and stuff.
Well, and I think that's a fair point, because both of you have done enough deals and worked on enough housing projects that you can show that you can be equally effective whether you do it yourself or whether your contractor does it proxy. Yeah.
It just depends, right? So in my case, I do like to take the plans, and you have to have like 5 copies. You have to do a CD copy, but you take all of that, you go down to DPW, they'll give you, you sit outside, you sign in, you wait to be called, then you're finally allowed to go in. And then you present them with the plans, you get the paperwork, you fill it all out. And when you fill it out and you let them know you're going to be building, they check off all the agencies that you must clear. And that's the reason you have to have so many copies, is because those copies actually go to the different agencies. And so at that point, when they issue you a building permit number, the process begins. And Liz has gone through this process, so she can explain, from that point, once you submit the application, what happens next, right, Liz?
Right. So you submit it, and it's supposed to be tandem. We complained about the process where if you had to go to all the different individual, at one time they would say you have to do it under this particular agency first, and then you go. So then they allow tandem, meaning you could have all the different plans, go to the different agencies to get the proper approval, because you cannot move forward with the building unless you get all the proper approvals. Now, I know the government is looking at automating and having stuff done online, but we're not there yet. But in the meantime, everything is manual. So you would have to give your building permits to every single agency that's on the list. They review it. If it's stuck at one particular agency, then you have to keep following up. Don't let your plan sit, because sometimes I know the recent home that we built, it was like a 3-month process just to get through the building approval process, because it goes to all those agencies. And if it's stuck in one, you have to go and kick it loose. And so we're saying, just because you submit it, you have to keep following up. You can't just let it sit. Okay. And then if they come back and they'll say, well, there's this issue that needs to be addressed, then you have to go back to your contractor and they have to correct it to conform with whatever government standard is required.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. How often, ladies, do you see because it is an application with the government, right? So how often do you see the process not go through the first time? Is that fairly common, or?
Yeah, fairly common. So okay. I'm actually processing a building permit right now. And it starts with, so it goes through DPW is the first agency, of course, because they tell you who else to go to. So DPW goes through it first. And, and the process before was you go to DPW and all the agencies were there. Well, that no longer that's not how it's done now. You literally have to go to each and every agency. So I started DPW, and then from DPW went to land management. At land management, my plans were rejected. There's a specific formula in the code that specifies that on your setback, if you only have 8 feet, then you can only have so many inches per foot. And it looked like my overhang was 3 feet, and land management. And it's interesting that it was land management, but land management said, because your setback on this side of the house is only 8 feet, you're only allowed to have 16 inches of overhang. And that's that rim that goes around your house.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, based on the law, you can only have 16 inches. Well, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So of course, I went in there and had a little chat with everybody, only to be told, Gina, it's the law. Can you read? Yes, I can read.
So am I fair in assuming that, like as the young people say, when it comes to this process, and you guys have greatly emphasized the fact that this is a process, a sequence of decisions that have to be made over a certain amount of time, that when it comes to this final step and getting your building permit in with DPW, you really have to sweat the details, because the littlest thing can set you back.
Yeah,
right.
I had to pay for my plans to be redone because my overhang said 3 feet,
Mm-hmm.
and land management says by law I'm only allowed to have 16 inches. So yeah, I had to pay to have that redone.
Okay. Well, Liz, I am not normally the optimist, but let's just say, crossing my fingers and praying to the patron saint of building permits, right? Santa Construction, right? So assuming it goes through the first time, right? And now I've got building permit in hand and my contractor's ready to go. Can I now start building?
Yes. Once you have everything in place, your contractor has the green light to get going. So of course, go ahead, Gina. Yeah, they have the green light. And so, but just remember the construction process, and of course the bank, they have phases. So there's the groundbreaking phases of prepping the property. So each phase, if you're getting a bank loan, the bank will pay for each phase as it is completed. So each phase, as it becomes completed, the government has to come in and do their inspections just to make sure the contractor is complying with the plans and complying with the code. Mm-hmm. So each phase, they do their inspections, the government comes in, and then the bank will pay in phases as well. So as we as owners want to go and inspect as well, just to see how the progress is going. We, as an owner, you don't want to leave the contractor to their own devices. You want to go and check it periodically just to make sure everything is. And, it's interesting that even Gina and I have gone to different construction sites, and sometimes you have these blocks where they pour concrete because they do it in phases. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure they're not stuffing cans, they're not stuffing paper, because we have seen that happen, right, Gina? Where these block cells are stuffed with improper filling. So just from experience, you have to go periodically to make sure you watch every phase of the construction.
Okay, well that aside, Gina, so say like after that point, say maybe 12 months, 18 months has passed and the construction of the home of my dreams has transpired, then all I have to do is wait for you to show up to my new dream home and hand me the keys, right? And take that amazing selfie when I'm going to actually walk through my own home.
Actually, Jason, we'll only come to your housewarming because since you're building on your own land, and this is what the series of episodes has been, is to explain to you how you can build on your own property, right? Mm-hmm. So you're working directly with the contractor. So once the house is done and you get your occupancy permit and you go and you apply to have the water turned on and the power turned on, then you're going to call us and say, hey, Liz and Gina, you did this series on how to build in your own property. So I finished my home and we're getting ready to move in and we have a housewarming this weekend and you're invited. Come on down.
And you're bringing the chips and the queso.
No, we'll bring the barbecue chicken or the tinala chutney.
Oh, okay.
Best Tenella Cutney.
Yes, the best Tenella Cutney on island, absolutely. From Mescla, absolutely. I agree. Okay, before I let you go, because this has been a wonderful series, and we hope everybody watching, you've really got a lot out of this. Go back and watch the previous episodes, and take notes, because we put a playlist just together for all 5 of these episodes, right? But ladies, may I just ask, as realtors, right, are there any superstitions or any like time-honored traditions maybe that you as realtors, like, when someone is entering a house that's been built and they've been through all of those activities and steps and everything, like, how like when they say when you're christening a ship, right, you take like the champagne glass and like you crack it against the hull of the ship. Is there anything like that people should do when they finally enter their home that they've worked so hard to get?
Okay, my first thing is get it blessed before you moved in.
Yes.
And it's superstition. It's just I promote the idea that you have it blessed, whatever religion you are, you have it blessed before you pour your footings, and you have it blessed before you move in. That would be my thing.
That's a good tip. Yeah. Liz?
Yeah. Well, usually when people are building, we do have people who are conscious about the positioning of the front door. So in the building process, they usually want to make sure it faces a certain direction based on their feng shui. So, but so we do have people who are really concerned about where the door faces. Does it face north? Does it face south? So yes, those are factors that people look at based on feng shui. I'm not familiar with feng shui that much. I did take a class at one time, but it's all about a feeling. So when you go into a house could feel welcoming and have that energy about it. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, again, sweat the details, because these are things that are going to add to the personality, the characteristics, and the love that your home will give back to you after you put so much of yourself into it. So, wow, I am so happy we did this series, ladies. Thank you so much, Liz. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, and thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.